Well, I want to ask your opinion. We've got a massive fight coming on. There's a clash of two heavyweights coming up on September the 21st, and we got AJ versus Triple D. They've had a little altercation in the sort of gloves are off. Was it gloves are off? That little show.
It was Adi Oladipo, sorry, who was sat in the middle, and you had Frank Warren on one side and
Yes.
Eddie Hearn on the other side, and the two fighters. And I'm enjoying Daniel Dubois actually coming out of himself because you could see like he's a little bit reclusive. You could see he's a little bit to himself, a little bit timid, and you know what I mean he's that way inclined. But I'm enjoying the fact that he's actually coming out of himself, and that's nice to see. You know that he is coming out of himself. But then Anthony Joshua he not like he's reinvented himself, but I think Anthony Joshua's kind of found himself again. He's found himself to say like, you know what, I'm not taking on nonsense from anybody. And so it's gonna be for a good fight as long as it lasts.
It's hard when you're fighting for the world heavyweight title. It's a bit different context to someone coming up to you in a bar and someone who's not relevant. These two guys know in a few months when they've done that, they've got to go and have a fight, and they're fighting for the world title. And there's a little bit of jostling there, a little bit of body language and mind games going on. And if someone's saying that you can't intimidate me, you come over to me, I'm gonna do this and do that. It's very hard to keep your cool. But I think Joshua did it in a way where he did keep his cool. I know he stood up, but he done it in a menacing, intimidating way. And fair play to Dubois, he didn't back down either. So it's the nature and part and parcel of being a heavyweight boxer fighting for the world title. You're gonna get a bit of testosterone pumping, aren't you?
You're talking about, what's the young buck's name? I literally just forgot his name now.
Daniel
Dubois.
Dynamite
Okay.
Dubois.
So I've sparred Dubois before.
Wow. You're joking.
I've sparred Dubois before. It was a while ago. But one thing I said, and it's weird, when he fought Anthony Joshua, I was talking to, when he fought Joe Joyce, I was talking to a friend of mine, he's very into boxing, and he was like, nah, man, trust me, Dubois, man, da-da-da-da. And I said, he's a quitter. And he's like, no, what makes you say that? I was like, because I've made him quit before. And I don't mean it in like he just got frustrated. And I just said that's a very telling sign of your mind. He's very powerful. And it's not just him. There's a lot of guys that depend on power. If it doesn't go well, or they get hit too hard back, they struggle with it. It's almost like a bully tactic to it. Like, I'm so used to bullying. When I get bullied, I don't know how to come out of it. I think Dubois, is super powerful, and to be fair, his last fight, he showed me otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think something is changing, which is good. And Anthony Joshua's last couple of fights, his attitude seems to be coming back, which is good. So weirdly enough, this is the perfect collision, perfect time for both of them. Because all the flaws that I was seeing in both of them seem to be kind of coming too. But when Anthony Joshua's on and he has the right attitude, I'd say Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Dubois, I'd say probably the more skillful of the two. But I think Anthony Joshua is the smarter of the two.
We had Johnny Fisher here 3 weeks ago. He's top 10 in the UK boxer. And he knocked his last opponent out in 36 seconds. He said he's sparred with Daniel Dubois, and he said that's the hardest puncher I ever faced.
100%. Which is why I had to be on my A game, because if that guy touches me, it's a problem. Obviously, there's the weight disparity anyway.
Big time.
But if that guy touches me, it's a problem. Yes. Which is why, again, he got frustrated because he wasn't able to land anything clean, which he's just used to, just like I said, just having his way.
Yeah.
And then again, when he got with Joe Joyce, and everything that you're landing is not working, and then he's still coming forward, that I think, I'm sorry, I don't believe there was anything wrong with his eye. I think he was just like defeated, and then obviously with Usyk, There's argument about where low blow,
it a
blah
low-
blah 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 blah.
Didn't
But
look like a low blow to
didn't
me.
it wasn't. I don't think it was a low blow. But at the same time, Usyk is a very smart person, smart fighter, and even still, regardless of whether it was or wasn't, he was still winning that fight and is gonna and beat you anyway. Pretty much on the same kind of thing. Again, I think sometimes he gets overwhelmed. If Anthony plays a very slow paced fight, he likes to be a bit more slow paced. If he plays a slow paced fight, it might maybe work against him. If he has that like the aggressive attitude and keeps the pressure on him, I think it will work. It will work against Dubois, because like I said, I've just seen him get frustrated too often and lose his head. But like I said, over the last couple of fights, he seems to have changed. So it's a good fight. It's a good timer for it.